Hi, everybody. This is Christine, and as of February 7th, 2025, I am on season 8, episode 15 of Grey's Anatomy, and I have never had a show embarrass me as thoroughly as the last six, 7 episodes of this show have embarrassed me. Cause when I did the last one of these, I was like, oh well, I guess like Owen's not that bad. Like he's doing pretty well this season. Like Derek is actually the worst offender, is actually like the worst of humanity on this show. And then I get to season 8, episode 9, and then I have one of my other bucket list items forcibly taken away from me, and Henry actually dies. Like he gets he has like a tumor in his trachea or something, and it's embedded into his esophagus, or they can't get it out, and he dies. But that's not the reason why that's fucked up. The reason why that's fucked up is because Teddy, she can't do the surgery because she's Henry's wife, right? So she is like, okay, I need someone who's like another me in that room. So I want Cristina to do the surgery, but Christina's not going to do the surgery if she knows that it's my husband. So just cover up his face, make it more of like a learning exercise for her. And Owen's like, all right, cool, like we can deceive my wife in this way, all right, fine. So then Cristina does the surgery, and she's kind of like being like her Christina self about it. She's very like, oh well, like let me time myself doing the surgery and like all of that. And she's the only one in the room who doesn't know that it's Teddy's husband on the table. But then she gets through everything, and then he keeps crashing, and then he dies, and Christina's like, well, can I like not have this on my boards, because like I wasn't really prepared for this, and this is gonna look bad on my 50 year boards. And then they finally tell her that's Teddy's husband, and she freaks the fuck out. The problem is that Teddy is still in surgery from that case that she was called away from, because she was called away from Henry's case. So like she's making decisions about Henry's health while she's like elbow deep in another person, you know? Owen's like, all right, so we can't tell Teddy that this all happened. So we are going to just send Cristina in there to help her with the surgery after she was part of the surgery that killed her husband. And we're just not going to tell Teddy until like she's done, because if this patient dies, then all of this was for nothing. This was Callie's patient actually, because Jackson, like he didn't screws like well enough, and then the patient like had her heart shredded or whatever, but like she's okay. So then finally the surgery's over. This is a 2-part episode, I think, and the whole time like Meredith and Alex are like in an ambulance somewhere, and they're trying to keep like this preemie baby alive in like an ambulance that's about to explode, and somehow that's like the B story of this whole thing. So then finally, surgery's over. Cristina pulls Teddy aside, and she's like, I need to speak to you privately. And she tells Teddy everything. And Teddy is predictably beside herself. But they're both mad at Owen, because Owen basically took part in this double deception between them, because he enabled Teddy not telling Cristina who was on her table. And he made Cristina go in there and essentially lie to Teddy about Henry's medical care. And they lied to Teddy about Henry being alive for like the entire time that she was in that surgery. It was so fucked up. So then Cristina and Teddy, they kind of like unite together to be mad at Owen, which, you know, fair, valid, decent shit. Teddy keeps pulling Cristina into like surgeries that she's in, and this has been going on for like weeks after Henry's death, and she's like, I need, like, walk me through the surgery again. And this happens like over and over and over again for like the next episode. And then finally she starts to repeat after Cristina, and she's like, well, things just happened, like he just died. And she's like, you don't blame yourself for this. You did everything I would have done. You were me in that room. And it's just kind of like, damn, like, why'd you have to put her through that? But also, like, I understand, because I think it was one of those things where it was just like she needed to understand in her mind that Henry had died, and this was her way of doing it. Like, okay, fine. Christina's back on Teddy's service after this, and then they steal a surgery from Alex and like some other some other attending that I don't know anything about. And then Owen gets all pissy. So then this all culminates at Zola's first birthday party, because Meredith and Derek actually got Zola back, like, during this whole thing. Okay, cool. And then they start arguing in the kitchen while, like, they're talking to the chief about, like, his 10,000th surgery or whatever. And also the chief's 10,000th surgery party got canceled because Adele, like, she showed up at the hospital and she starts yelling at Meredith through, like, the intercom. Because at least, like, when Ellis was dying, she was reliving, like, her residency, which is clearly, like, a happy moment for her. Adele is reliving, like, some of the worst parts of her marriage. And it's like, oh, that sucks. That sucks, this poor woman. Owen and Cristina are arguing in the room. And then finally, Owen just starts snapping at her, like, I don't understand, like, why you're like this, and, like, why is everything, like, about you, like, this whole thing with chief of surgery is hard for me, and also, like, you killed our baby. And then it's just like, you want to call her out for having an abortion, for killing your baby at an infant's birthday party? Fuck you, man. Then it kind of, like, stalls out the action, because it's like, hey, we're gonna do a what if episode, and it's like a what if episode. So we do, like, a single what if episode, and it's kind of like Cristina has, like, straight hair. Meredith is engaged to Alex, who is cheating on her with April, and the chief married Ellis, and Ellis is still a shitty mom. Lexi is, like, a burnout with dreads for some reason, and Thatcher Gray is dead in this. And what else? And Callie married Owen, and they had a bunch of kids together, but Callie also had, like, a moment of, like, lesbianism with Arizona. She's also a cardio surgeon, because Ellis told her to go into cardio even though she really wanted to do ortho. And that all kind of ends, like, predictably, and it ends with Meredith and Derek just being a guy and a girl in a bar, which, all right, fine, they'll find each other in every universe. They did bring Addison back for this one what if episode, but it was miserable for her. Zola is back, and, like, she started walking, and Meredith and Derek are actually very cute parents, and Derek is better now that there is a child in his life, and honestly, nobody's worse than Owen right now anyway. I think the thing that kind of gets me is that I stopped watching last time at season 8, episode 8, right before everything went to shit. So it's just kind of like, oh, Owen's not that bad. Like, he's doing cool chief of surgery shit, and, like, he's investing in everybody's growth, and Derek is actually the worst, and and Henry's doing better, and he's gonna go to med school, and, like, that's gonna be, like, a challenge on him and Teddy's marriage. But you know what's more of a challenge than med school at Henry's age for a marriage? Death. I was so happy for a moment, and now that happiness is over. And that happiness is over because Henry is dead and Owen sucks again. And it's just, like, I can't believe that he did that. I can't believe that he did that. He called her out for killing their baby. And, like, no, like, they had a decision in their marriage, and you can't compromise. You can't have half a baby. So, like, they have to get divorced now. And I think Owen is actually not living in the house anymore. More like he moved out of the firehouse that he made them get. So now Cristina lives in a firehouse by herself, and Owen is staying with his mom. And hopefully it stays like that. Hopefully they don't get back together. Like, I can't do this again. Anyway, that is where I'm at in Grey's Anatomy. I look forward to completing the season and having my heart stomped on, like, just that much more. Have a great day, everybody.